know already what the hottest podcast is in the world, the Brik Talks podcast. And so we're on Anything Entertainment Network. Make sure you download that and share it with all your friends. And come out and check out some of the conversations that we're having. We got some really riveting conversations. We're talking about community. We're talking about culture. We're talking about loving and helping one another to just build a great community and to build great surroundings in our community. Make sure you look for us on YouTube. We're on social media. Keep building, y'all. Keep it Brik. Welcome to the Brik Talks podcast, and I'm your host, the Brik Chick. And today we have a special show because we have Jay Real returning with his lovely wife. Is it Armett? Do I say your name right?
Yes,
Armett?
that's correct.
Yes, with Armett. Today's episode is special, which I said. We're bringing together voices that represent growth, healing, leadership, and real-life resilience. Today you're going to hear from people who didn't just survive their journeys. They turned their experiences into building blocks. First, we have Jay Real, a voice of authenticity, transformation, and truth. Someone who understands what it means to rise through the challenges and still choose purpose over pain. And joining us, we'll have the dynamic duo of Armett and Jay Real, educators, entrepreneurs, community advocates, and co-hosts of a couple of Band-Aids. I'm excited to hear about that. And they're showing us what it looks like to heal, build, and lead together. Okay, from early education to family advocacy to blended households to marriage, business, and ministry. This conversion is about how to protect your peace, grow through pressure, and stay aligned in love and purpose, brick by brick. So today we're talking about healing out loud, leading with integrity, parenting with intention, partnership with wisdom, and building legacies that last. So, Brik fam, if you've ever tried to balance love, leadership, and life, this episode is for you. So get comfortable, open your heart, and get ready to receive. So welcome Armett and her husband, Jay Real Newman. Woo!
It's the audience.
Oh, we don't have that type of a setup here, but thank you. Okay, so let's get to some questions, some hard-hitting questions, okay? So let's see. So you both juggle marriage, parenting, business, and community work, right? Mm-hmm. How do you stay aligned in purpose while growing individually? And we'll let Armett start to answer the question first.
How do we stay aligned in purpose?
Yes, individually while working together so closely in those areas.
So life itself is about balance, is what I'm, growing to learn more and more. So I try to balance out what I do personally for myself, right? Because we have to be okay as an individual, right? Before we can do anything else. Yeah. And then business-wise, that helps with the balance of that. And then when it comes to, us being married, we've been together, 3 years prior to that. We've always centered that around being able to have a date night. Okay. And that date night once a week always consists of us reconnecting, I'll say, just the foundational things. We communicate every day, but the foundational things. On date night, we talk about it, laugh. And so that's how that kind of comes together full circle for me, personal, professionally, and relationally.
Okay. So. All right. Jay Real, did you want me to re-ask the question, or are you just going to piggyback off of that?
No, I'll piggyback. I guess I've learned to actually balance and give each entity its own timing. And I think I balance pretty well with my relationships with my children, my wife, my business, and myself. Because I'm vocal about it. Like, look here, y'all go and y'all go because we about to go, and. It works out like that. I think the communication part is one of our strengths.
Yeah. I remember one day I was talking to you on the phone and you was cleaning up, and I respected that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys, they want to leave household stuff for the women to do, right? Not that anything, but and we was just happened to be chopping it up. We was talking about something, I think, before you came on the last time, and I said, you cleaning up, Jay Real?
can't wait.
So I mean,
Can't wait to
but
get
that
back home.
shows, but that shows how, as a partnership, okay, we're gonna do this together. I need you to pick up in places where maybe I might need a little assistance, and it's never like, oh, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? That so I really respected that.
I can't wait to get home right now and sweep the living room floor.
Oh, are you just excited about that?
No, I want to do it because if I don't do it, it won't get done.
So I knew that I knew this was something else.
So that's all. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, really?
Was that something you were supposed to?
No. So he's saying that because we actually just moved into a new location.
Okay.
And so we're settling in.
Okay.
So we need to, unpack.
Okay.
So that's why he mentioned that.
All right. All right. So when did you guys first realize that this relationship could be more than personal? That it could become a platform for healing and impact?
That's a good question.
When did we realize?
Yeah, were you guys just kind of cuddling one night, or pillow talking, or on a date night, and just say, hey, you know what, we should do a show about this, or we should talk, we could help other people, or how could we give back to the community, the Black love thing.
I think maybe I did.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it. She's been an entrepreneur prior to me. I like the way she conducts, her business, herself. She's been given awards as a distinctive woman. So that's really aligns with why I chose to marry her. I felt as if she'd be an asset for me and my business etiquette. So moving forward, I'm like, let's start a business. What type of business? Giving back. We have a non-for-profit. We have Poverty Project Prevails. So what that does is we gather families in the community, underprivileged, starting with the youth, implementing their families. We give clothes, we give food, we give programs. We do that like grassroots. We've been doing that for 3 years. Okay. So, and we've just been building, learning as we go. Like, I'm the intellectual properties with the building, and she actually catapults with the heartfelt. Like, she's passionate too. Yeah. I'm passionate about business, but I think we both mesh well with the helping piece, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So a couple of Band-Aids is our podcast that's coming out.
Okay.
So that's all, and we believe that we'll be continuously healing, and plus we're a couple, and I thought I'm the branding marketing person.
Okay. He definitely is. So he is the one who came up with the name A Couple of Band-Aids, and so we talked about it. Why a couple of Band-Aids?
Right.
Because a lot of times in relationships, we allow things to build, right? We don't really talk about it. We don't get deep into it. We usually just have a conversation a lot of times, agree to disagree, but it's not resolved. Jay and I, over these past 4 years, have learned to agree to disagree, but actually resolve issues. We don't want resentment being built, because that can happen, anger, and us having a blended family. It's important for us to stay on the same page. Different levels, right? Age levels. My 3 girls are, 21, 25, and 30.
Okay.
And then, Jay has adult children as well.
Okay.
And then, he has the 2 younger girls.
Right.
So, us being able to resolve any issues that come about and communicate and converse and come to a happy medium is important. And so we've had, some hurdles in the beginning that we really had to work through. Yeah. So a couple of Band-Aids, I'm like, that's perfect, because we're not covering it up. You know what I mean? We're getting to the root of it and we're moving on. That's building healthy relationships. So I think a lot of people, need to hear that. And in that, we need to be able to be transparent, right? So the only way to do that is to be okay with what you're talking about from experience. So I thought that was a good name that he came up with.
Yeah, that is a good name. I thought that was kind of jazzy, kind of snazzy.
Yeah, I did it with a play on words.
You did. You're a pretty smart guy there, Jay Newman. I want to go back to something that you said. You said, that's the reason why I married her. And so in this culture today, right? Well, that's part of the reason why I married her. But in this culture today, the bad B, and, not that you're not a bad B. but but I think that it would be good for young people to hear, coming from a male perspective, because that just struck me that when you're looking for a wife, or you know, it's more to it than just that persona that, you know, you have like you know, this statuesque or bad personality, because most of the time they have horrible personalities from what I see, right? A lot of times these bad bees. But just to give a little perspective to young people about what are good values that you look for in a woman, because I think it'll help young men and young women that are coming up to realize that what's important when it comes to life and relationships.
There's a variety of women in the world, you know, and they all come with their strengths and their weaknesses. You know, I know my position as a man and what I can do for a woman. You know, I feel as if Armett was able to bring to me what I needed more than what I wanted.
Was that peace? Because I hear people, a lot of guys say, she brought me peace.
Armett brings me, she challenges me to converse and communicate better than I do. And I'm a good communicator. So, you know, she also helps me, assists me with recognizing boundaries in different things in life. And I think I love how she is just to the point. She's to the point. Me, I can go around, come back, but she'll bring me to the point, and that's helpful. I love the way she loved my daughters, you know, because I've been a single man, so I think, you know, raising these girls on my own, she brings that, you know, and she can communicate. That's what really attracted me to her when we started talking. Because I've been with plenty of women, you know, nothing against them, but they weren't able to uphold a well-rounded conversation.
So the intellect just drew you right in.
I promise you.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I brought the funny out in her. She wasn't as funny as she was.
Is she a comedian now?
What?
Armett, we gonna do a stand-up night, girl. You ready? Okay. But I love the way y'all played off each other, because I could tell, even though I'm just meeting Armett recently, that she's a little more reserved than you. And so I wonder how that, you know, plays together, because you can tell she's professional, she's she's reserved, she's well put together. Not that you're not Jay Real, but but it's a difference. It's the different sides of the pendulum. And I was thinking about that. What is it? Hermetes? Is that what I'm saying it right? With the when we're talking about life and different rhythms, like the pendulum swinging, like either positive and negative, and then there's a little bit in the middle, right, with everything, right? I probably screwed that whole that whole ideal up, but basically it's just saying that there's a good side, and there's two sides of the pendulum, and there's everything that's in between. So if you see Armett on this one side, and then you're kind of on the other side, and then bringing that all together to kind of like balance each other. You know what I'm saying? I know I didn't probably say that as well, but
we balance. I think we balance each other.
Yeah.
We do.
And so he has brought out the funny in me. I am very matter of fact. Let's get it done. This is what we're doing. But I love to laugh. Yeah. So, you know, to know me, I mean, I love cracking jokes all the time. I love having a good time. Yeah. You know, but you got to know me in order, you know, to know that. So, you know, meeting me, you know, people are like, oh, is she mean? Is she? Nope, I'm not mean at all. You know, open book. Yeah. You know, love to meet new people. Love to converse. Yeah. So whenever Jay and I go anywhere, we're always meeting new people. Yeah. New couples especially. Yeah. Having a good time. Some of them we've been connected with and gone out to eat, you know, or met up at different places and, you know, and had a good time. Yeah, like finding your tribe, right? Definitely. Finding the tribe is a good word. Yeah. Yes. So that's good. No, I just, when he said that brought out something, because I think I don't know what people look for in relationships anymore. And I'm a little relationally challenged. So I do like to ask those types of questions when I see people that are making it work. And, you know, because I know it can't be easy. You know what I'm saying? Because you have two different people. And then with y'all both having children at such different ages,
right? Because your children are very well grown, right? And Jay, you have a daughter. Your daughter is in her 20s, right? Your son and your daughter in their kind of like mid 20s,
27.
Okay.
15 and 5.
Okay, all right. So I guess there is some blending going on there, but just having raised the children in different, from different perspectives, and then coming to this point where you have adult children and some younger children, and just kind of blend. So that's a whole different level in there. You know what I'm saying, of conversation, right?
Especially because parenting is different, right? The way I parent my girls, the way Jay parents his girls, and the way their moms, parent them.
Right.
But it works though. So it's all about, and Jay has set a really good foundation as far as communication. So the relationships that I do have with the two younger ones, their mother is a good one. We can converse, no issues there.
Yeah.
And it works. Jay really respects how I do things, and I work with children.
Yes.
So I run a daycare. I've been doing it for over 16 years.
Yes.
So that right there speaks for itself, and his daughter loves to come to my daycare. So it's about building a relationship with them as well.
Yeah.
And so we have a good relationship, and Jay fosters it. So that's what makes it work.
That's good. That's good. That's very good. So, what role does faith, and you already mentioned to hit on the communication a little bit, but emotional honesty, right? Because sometimes I think that as human beings, we just don't want to just be vulnerable. Like there's certain things that we can say to one another, right? And we can feel like we're being vulnerable, but we may not just give the whole 100 percentile, right? So, how does that, so the emotional honesty play, okay, and keeping your connection strong through busy seasons. Like, so how does that, let me rephrase that. Okay, so we have faith, communication, and an emotional play. So when you're trying to bridge all those things together, how are you able to do that and keeping your connection strong when you don't really have, when I say a busy connection, right? When you don't really have time to just sit down and say, hey, we need to clear this up right now, right? This needs to happen because you got children and you got you got business things going on. You have your day. So how do you address that? How do you handle that part of it?
That's perfect. That's what's kind of like recently happened, right? So we set a time that we're gonna talk. I say, what do you have going on today on your schedule? He'll tell me, and we meet somewhere in the middle, and we meet.
So how do you? So up until getting there, because if you feeling some type of way, right, then everything else that you're doing, right, is going to be impacted in some way about that, because or you're giving short answers, or he's because it hasn't been addressed,
right.
So how do you? I guess that's the question. How do you? In what way do you bridge that until you get to the point where you can sit down? Or do you just say, hey, you know what, boom, we need to make time? Or do we say, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to do a little prayer, or I'm going to take a walk? Or I have a friend of mine that says she goes in her closet. So, how do you handle, something like that until you can get to the point, especially if it's something that's deep, you know what I'm saying? Or that has really bothered you. And then it's not like you can just say, okay, well, I'm going to go on with my day and I'm going to act like this didn't bother me, when it really actually did, right? So if he has meetings and you have meetings and you have children and you have things that so how do you keep the communication healthy and alive during those times without, being,
So here's the thing. We are continuously growing in that area.
Okay.
Why do I say that? Is because with her matter of factness and my prioritizing and sometimes maybe overlooking what's important, we don't need to take care of that right now. But me learning to respect her actual emotions on dealing with the right now, but communicating in a better way, and her, delving into understanding and really putting her emotions to the side, but listening. So we've been developing that and coming to a happy medium.
Okay.
We're doing that today.
Okay.
Like we've been fostering that between us because it has been, and it can be a collide.
Yeah.
You understand? Because she's busy. She's at the the daycare all day, things come up, I'm out doing things come up, but then when we get home, it's like we can't put our hair down, not me, but we can't put our hair down because something is on her mind and she wants to tackle it right then and there. I'm like, I just got in the house, relax, we'll get to it. But I'm feeling, hold on, honey. Like, so we've been developing that, as of like 6 to 8 months, to be honest with you. So we continuously communicate. We are open and honest. I had to get to a point like, yo, leave me alone, please. But we continuously learning each other. But we respect, we open and we honest, and we're developing. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, because the leave me alone. I'm the type of person, if there's an issue, we need to talk about it right
Let's
now.
address it. And I think that might be a female thing.
What are we waiting for? Like, why are we waiting?
Can we talk? So
he's exaggerating.
I'm exaggerating, but I felt.
But that's how you feel.
That's how he
like
felt.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, well, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
The issue happened right now. Like, we need
Let's
to
get
address
this
it.
resolved.
Let's get it resolved and let's move on.
And I'm with you on that too. I don't know if that's a female thing, maybe. But I understand where you're coming from.
And it's also, what I've learned is it's also a selfish thing. It's about me, what I want, and right now, let's take care of it.
And it can be. It can be because in doing some work, right, I discovered how fair is that, right? Not even with just Jay. But if a person is not ready to talk, you can't force them to be ready to talk because you're ready to rectify what's going on.
That's
you're
true.
ready to talk. But at some point, okay, we have to talk, right? We're not just going to let it go. And I think that's where, Jay and I had to. That's where the friction was.
Okay.
Like, I want to get it resolved. Let's talk. It happened. Let's get it done and over with. He's like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, I need some time to process this. Not that I don't want to talk to you, but right now is not a good time. And it's me respecting that right now wasn't a good time for him. So to answer your question, that you said when I have something pressing going on that I want to talk about, and I have all these things going on in my schedule, meetings and I gotta be, talking to all these people, right? I'm the chapter rep of Monroe County for about 1,200 other child care providers. They call me, right? I can't have that shortness with them. They haven't spoken to me. So what I do is I'll say to Jay, this and this really bothered me. Sometime today, let's make some time to talk about it. Is that cool with you? Sometime later today, after dinner or whatever, can we talk? Because and this is what I would like to talk about, to give him some time to think about, right? What bothered me, and that has been working. But that helps me, right? Because I've gotten it off my chest generally, and I know that later on we're gonna have a conversation about it,
right?
And then I'm able to kind of like leave it.
Yeah, and then he is also giving you, some feedback on, okay, I understand that we need to have this conversation. It's just not going to happen right now. Because when you say that's being selfish, because she wants to talk about it right now, is it not selfish for you to say, leave me the F alone?
I think it's rude. I don't think it's selfish.
Okay.
I think it's rude. That's a different emotion.
Okay.
That's because I feel barricaded in, like, we got it, and I'm like, oh, so it's just about understanding, being open and honest, and agreeing to disagree. That's important in relationships, because you feel one way doesn't mean that I have to agree that it's okay to feel that way. I respect it. You understand?
Yeah.
So allow me that, because if not, now you're forcing your will and your way and your emotions on me.
And it's not gonna be a good outcome if I just have to respond at this point.
Because I'll build resentment.
Because now I'm like,
Okay. Well, and he'll be defensive.
Right.
You know what I mean? So is he really even hearing me?
Right.
Am I really even resolving what I'm trying to express because his guard is up?
Right.
So I've even learned as a woman to know when. Know when is a good time. Timing is everything.
Yeah.
So just because I think the timing is good now, is the timing really good?
She's gotten so much better.
So that's what, it's taught me. Is the timing really good? But at the same time, we got to meet each other.
Yeah.
Because this is pressing.
So he's not like he's just dismissing like your feelings.
No. And we've talked about that too, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
Because I feel this way, you can't say it's minor. I feel this way.
Yeah.
My feeling is valid. Now, what are we going to do about it? And now, when he expresses himself, same thing, And so we need to validate, okay, so this happened. how are we going to move forward from this?
Right.
You know, and usually that works. But the timing, me feeling like it needs to, and let's just get it out of the way,
Yeah.
that's something that I needed to work on. Not that we're not going to address it, but maybe the time is not the right time. So that's been helping.
So you have to kind of swallow
Mm-hmm.
and take a deep breath. Yeah. Yeah.
But I am expressing it was an issue.
Yeah.
That helps me.
That helps you.
So I'm not just swallowing and saying, okay, later on we're going to talk about it. I'm saying, listen, that right there bothered me.
Yeah.
I know now might not be a good time,
Prequel.
but we need to address it.
And then you knowing that it bothered her
Mhm.
instead of you, okay, honey, I understand.
The core is respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the core.
Okay.
You know, and then we dissect that.
And then you do have to you just have to understand it. It may just be that we have to agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
But then we learn how to respect each other
Yes.
throughout that, you know. So you know if it's something that you said or the way that you responded or something that you did, you know that if that happens to come back around, you know how to handle that in a way that is not being offensive to or not regarding her feelings.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's
People
beautiful.
You know what I think about?
But that's a lot though. I mean, because it's easy to say. We can sit here and say this.
Yes.
But when you're actually in that moment, especially because sometimes, guys, I gotta say this, right? Sometimes y'all are just like, it's like you'll say something or you'll do something, and it's like you don't even realize how that looked or how that sounded, right? And you're like going about you're okay, honey, I'm outside, I'm gonna go shovel the walkway or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll see you later, and you kissing on whatever. I can't wait to see you. Like, y'all still on some more, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and then I'm gonna say we, and then we're like, wait a minute, though. What did you just say? What did you know? How that came across? And so that's why I say when you're thinking about that and you try not to let it fester, but. And you say, hey, I need to talk about this because as a woman, we just want to get it out. I didn't appreciate you doing that. You shouldn't have said that, whatever. And I want you to come back and say, oh, something, right? And so learning how to kind of, okay, yes, and doing that in a way that kind of like a calming, right? A woosah, a deep breath or something. And then knowing that it's going to be addressed at a later time. That's got to be very, very difficult. I commend y'all for that.
Yeah,
It works if you work it.
Yeah, and especially if you know that that love is the foundation, because that means a lot. And I think that there's a mutual respect anyway. So if there's a certain level of respect that's already understood, then you can say in your mind like, I know that wasn't his intention, or you know what I'm saying, and we have to kind of like internalize and say, okay,
I'm not there.
I'm gonna get through the day.
So I struggle with that when you say, oh, that wasn't his intention.
You still working on that?
I'm working on
Okay.
That's a work in progress.
Okay.
So I'll say something like, did I take that the wrong way when you said to give him the opportunity to clarify it? I know he has good intentions.
Right.
Because Jay will say to me sometimes, you know me. You know I didn't mean it that way. So I'm not there yet. So I have to ask for clarification to say, hey, did you mean? And he'll be like, no, honey, I didn't mean it that way. And it makes me kind of check myself as well to say, did I take that the wrong way?
But what if it's a circumstance where you don't think you actually took it the wrong way?
That's why I ask. That's why I ask, because it's very important. Especially when we feel it, right?
Yeah.
As women, we feel it like, oh, that was a little.
Yeah, and he may have come back and said, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't have said that like that because now, so I'm going to tell her, no, that's not what I meant because I want to keep the peace. Because a lot of times men will do that. Am I wrong?
You're right.
And not to say that they lie, but they'll embellish or they'll say, oh, you know what, maybe I misspoke and I don't want this to go into, tomorrow and the next or whatever, right? And then, so they'll say, whatever. I had a young lady that told, oh, this is crazy, but she's dealing with this guy and he's, married and she's married. It's just this a whole bunch of mess. And so I was explaining to her that I feel like if you're married to someone, right, and you live in a household with each other, you're probably intimate with each other. So she tells him, because she says that her and her husband are intimate, right? So when they have a conversation and she tells him, well, it bothers me that you're intimate with your wife. And he says, oh no, we're not intimate with each other. So I said, he's lying to you. She said, because you let in with saying, it hurts me to know that you're intimate with her. That's his wife. You knew that when you got into that. And it's a crazy, the whole, to me, that's just, if you're not happy, move on. But, and I know it's not always that simple, but, but for you to feel like this man is telling you something like that because that's the truth, I don't think that's true. I think that when you lead in with this way that I feel, now he just wants to say, he doesn't want to address it, or he doesn't want to say, well, I'm married, this is my wife, you know what I'm saying? You the side chick or whatever, right? He wants to say, oh, no, we're not intimate. And men think that that's okay. Why is that?
Hold on now. so I think...
Not that you would know the answer, but I'm just saying.
I could, I think men, what we tend to do is we tend to soften the blow. And that's what it sounds like what he did. Because sometimes when you tell a woman something, they don't want to hear it. So in that case, it sounds like he needed to tell her, or he had to tell her what she wanted to hear, as opposed to the truth. Mm-hmm. You understand? To protect. It's like a false protection thing.
Yeah.
You understand? So.
But with a woman like me, I would rather for you. I mean, for me, it's common sense. Mm-hmm. First of all, if you're dealing with somebody's husband,
right?
He's married to this woman. You think they're not intimate with each other? What do you mean? They live in the same household. I don't know what's going on with you and your husband or whatever, because clearly he got something else going on if he ain't touching you and y'all in the same house. I don't know what that's about, right? Unless she was lying about that. But why would you think that that's okay? But then I think men have that tendency to continue that type of behavior and those types of behaviors, those type of communication styles with women who don't require it. I would rather for you to be honest with me. Because to me, it's common sense. I mean, in that situation, right? But if you're talking about anything else, anything other than that, I think it just becomes a pattern for men to just soften the blow, like you say. But I would rather for you to talk to me like I'm intelligent and I can handle the truth. That would rub me the wrong way.
Yeah, but some women just don't allow men to prepare them for that. So the man just goes with the flow. It's like we can foresee the crazy coming out.
Not crazy.
Not.
Because you lying?
Well, they both are lying to one another.
True.
You understand?
Well,
so one lie will lie to the other lie.
Right.
So
I guess I'm just talking about the pattern, because even you say, sometimes it's just easier to soften the blow, and I think a lot of men feel that way, and I don't think they intentionally are trying to be deceitful. I just think, like you said, they don't want to go through the emotions, they don't want to go through the drama, or whatever the case may be. So oh no, that's not what's going on. So and I think it just becomes a pattern, and I just wish that sometimes y'all would leave that with the last relationship and talk to me 100, keep it 100 with me.
Well, everyone isn't as prepared as you are. You understand? A lot of people live in a fantasy.
Yeah.
And it's easier to live in a fantasy for some people than to live in reality. Because reality hurts.
Yeah.
If you find out a lot about, what's really going on behind certain curtains, you'll be like, man, I shouldn't have moved the veil.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all.
And I think it depends on the individual.
Agreed.
Because timing is everything. And, Jay and I have had conversations about a topic, and later on, he may add on, remember when we talked about, and so I wanted to mention, and I'll be like, well, why didn't you? And he'll say, I didn't think it was time. I didn't think you would receive it well then. But I want to,
let me just clarify, right?
Yes.
Or
let me elaborate a little bit more on, and I've done the same thing. It's kind of like you fill a person out where they're at mentally, and position. Because sometimes we get defensive, right? Yeah. It hurts to hear the truth, right, or an observation that may be true, right?
Now that does hurt. You be like, oh, that was a gut punch, but I needed it. Okay.
And it's not the first time I heard it,
right?
But I digress, right? So it's just one of those things. So in that situation with the young lady, I think as women sometimes we go into situations knowing what it is in the beginning, but we're emotional beings.
Yeah.
So over time, we get attached, and emotionally we get involved, and we start to, like Jay say, fantasize. We want to believe that, and we want things to change. But we went in knowing, you know, what the situation was.
Yeah.
But over time, we get so caught up that, you know, we tend to believe the lie. So,
yeah. Or we just choose to.
Choose. That's a good word.
We just choose to believe that. Or to make it like that's what it was.
Absolutely. That's good. It's a choice.
Yeah, it's definitely a choice. So I'm not condoning people going out and sleeping with other people's husbands or having these types of relationships. But I do hope that people can recognize that their value and move on from those types of situations for sure. Okay. So what has been the hardest season you faced together? And how did it strengthen your bond instead of breaking it? Would that be different for each of you? You think?
Our season. So do you mean our seasons together or individually?
That's a good question. I think let's say individually. Is there a season in your life that really that was hard for you, and that you had to face, and then coming into the relationship, you know, it strengthened your bond with each other because of something that you've gone through previously?
So I'll say for me, I've been married before.
Okay.
And so, you know, in that...
to a pastor?
No. No, he wasn't a pastor.
I love that.
So, yeah, that didn't work.
Okay.
And I was the type of person where, you know, once I got out here in the dating world, it was kind of like, I can take care of me. You know, I'm independent. I don't have to take all that, you know, that's going on out here.
Right.
So when I got with Jay has been so patient with me. You know, Jay's known, you know, out here in the community, you know. And
you've been 10 toes down out here for a long time.
And so, you know, you guys call him Jay Real. I call him Jabril. Okay. Because that's who I met. I met Jabril, you know, and he's been patient with me, you know, because it's easy for me to throw in the towel. I'll say, you know,
me too.
I don't got to take all that. You can go ahead and have that, and you can go ahead and go, you know. And, you know, Jay's been that person who's like, you know, Armett, you know, just working with me, helping to knock those walls down, I'll say, you know, because they were up pretty high, you know, and he's been consistent, you know. So that was difficult for me. I don't know that everybody would have been able to do that with me.
So was it developing that trust with him?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's a hard thing for people, I think, to build, especially when you've been through something and you see certain things, or you do. And that's the whole thing. It's like you might say something or you might do something, and people are using the word trigger now. But for me, it's like, oh, I've seen these behaviors before, so now I'm paying attention. So what did you mean by that? So where did that come from? And you, on the other hand, is like, I'm just softening the blow, right? So, but you don't realize that was something that may have been a hard blow for her, or you know, for the other person. So, you know, I guess having those conversations, don't start, Jay.
I'm just
don't start
listening.
So how about you? And you know, with hearing Jay Real's story with his mother, gave me a whole different perspective on him, and as far as him and how he handles women, because even as a young man, as a little boy, he had to be that. He had to be that emotional, you know, piece for his mother. He had to be the man. He had to be the son. He had to be the protector as a kid, right? And so I think that gives him a different perspective with women, right? So I would think that would I'm not gonna say make it easier, but it seems like he would just be more in tune to you.
He's very in tune. Well, let me tell you, one thing that I wasn't used to, and I know, you know, he's done, you know, he's a comedian and, you know, calling women bitches.
Oh my, I told you that that's how we met, right?
Yes. So we would be out and he'd be like, yeah, because you bitches, and I'd be like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, why are you calling him a bitch? Like, what's, you know? And he's like, hey, I don't mean anything by that. And I'm like, seriously? So we were out one night, just hanging out, and he was talking to a young lady, joking, and he didn't call her a bitch. And she asked him, she's like, Jay Real, you're not calling me a bitch? She's like, call me a bitch. And I'm looking at her like, wait a minute, what is going on here?
Yeah, that was his little term of endearment. You know, if he ain't calling you a bitch, he don't fuck with you.
Yeah. So,
you know what I'm saying? Oh, excuse me.
Like, wait a minute, you know? I'm like, why is she asking you? So that was very, like, difficult for me because I looked at that as, like, a disrespect.
Right.
You know, like, why are you, you know, joking with these women and you know, in this manner?
I think that was his hook. That's the way to get the attention, right? Because you're like, I told you, he was like, what y'all bitches drinking? I said, who is he talking to? Wait a minute. And then he came on over because he wasn't even really close. He was walking up, so I'm like, who is he talking to? You know, and one of the young ladies who was sitting with us, she was like, that's just Jay Real. Jay Real, you better cut it out, you know. So, and then he came up and, like I said, just been the best. You know, he's just been a real. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Definitely a good guy. So very in tune, knows what I want and what I need before it even happens, and he's very affectionate. And so, you know, I told him, I said, you know, not knowing you, because I didn't know him, I knew of him.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, you know, hearing things about you, you're totally different.
Yeah.
You know, than what people say or what they know.
Yeah.
You know, he's really like a gentleman. He really takes care of me. He does, I can say that. He takes care of me. And he gives me what I need.
Yeah, I believe that. And when I first seen him interacting with his daughter, I was very surprised because, like I said, even meeting him like that, you just don't know what to expect. Right. And then he was just he said, you know, he took his daughter and he, you know, his baby mama wanted to, I think she was pursuing a nursing degree or whatever, but he was like, yo, all right, come on, that's my daughter. She can stay with me, you know, and then he made it happen. And it was just like, and Breezy was so, you know, easy to talk to. She's such a good kid. And, you know, just like, wow, you know, really, Jay Real, you got good kids like this? Yeah, that's a wonderful thing. Yeah. And just how they interact with him, even seeing you and Nora go at it. And they respect you, but at the same time, you know, you can tell that the relationship is close. It's close-knit, that they can come and talk to you about anything, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just a good relationship. It's good to see black men in the lives of their daughters, because a lot of times they say, oh, you know, black boys need their father. Yes, they do, but black girls need their father too.
Absolutely.
So, what boundaries or traditions help keep your household grounded when outside pressure shows up?
Outside boundaries keep.
You know, what boundaries or traditions in your family help keep your household grounded when outside pressures come in?
I think from day one, I've always said, you know, let's build a force field around us, for us. And the naysayers in the peanut gallery, we really have our own community. You know, my life is primarily Armett, my daughter, Breezy, and Nora. You know, the other children are grown, so you know they're there, but that's just primarily. And I don't think she does either. Like, we don't allow things to come in between us. So we just conscious and cognitive about, even if they are trying to pierce, we talk.
So you saying, so basically I think one important thing is to keep people out your business. And if you keep people out your business, you have a much better relationship. And that is true, because I think people just want to have something to talk about, you know. And so, especially when you have somebody who's a celebrity or source in the town, right? So, you know, oh, Jan, you know, or people that might be a little jealous or things like that. So, as founder of Armett's Care and Share Family Daycare, a nationally accredited program here in the state of New York, she's helping to shape strong futures from the very beginning. As CEO of the Poverty Project Prevails, you're standing in the gap for families and youth that need support, resources, and real opportunity. And as a certified adult and pediatric CPR first aid instructor, I never knew that you did first aid, girl. I needed to get my CPR. I could have came to you.
Sure can.
You're equipping our community with life-saving skills, literally and spiritually. So, what made you get into the child care arena?
So I used to work for an organization where I ran a couple of group homes for them. And I opened up a couple of them, and I wanted to get out of doing that, and I wanted to go to the HR department there. And so they didn't have room for me, there was, just always something. So I just felt like I had outgrown that. And I said, I still want to work with, people, but...
You had outgrown the child care part of it or the HR part of it?
Well, the organization that I used to work with, let me be clear, I used to support individuals with disabilities.
Okay.
And so I ran a couple group homes for them. And then we would have people come in from the community, and they actually opened up a new group home, and I opened that up for them.
Okay.
And ran that. I was with that organization for about 12 years.
Okay.
And so I wanted to get out of being, a supervisor running the group home, and I wanted to be a part of their HR department. And so that didn't work. It was, no availability there for me. So what I ended up doing was I went back to school, got my bachelor's degree in sociology while I was still there, and then said, what am I going to do, right? And so I wanted to be a caseworker for DHS at one point. I took the test for that.
Oh, wow.
They had a year's waiting list. And so I was like, wait list. So I said, okay, what am I going to do? I'll do childcare. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how, I got into it. And I've been doing it for, April will be 16 years.
Oh, wow. God bless you. God bless you. So when you guys think you're going to launch a couple of Band-Aids?
Let's see, probably springtime. We got some projects that we trying to put the wraps on. I've jumped back into the real estate field.
Okay.
And we are processing a lot. Not trying to put too much on our plates. Mm-hmm. You understand? So, but the real estate has actually become a bigger project.
Are you still doing the credit repair?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
So, trying to decide for that,
and not only credit repair, you also do
build businesses.
Yeah, small business.
And funding.
Funding, okay, yes, okay. Mm-hmm. I definitely need to talk to you about that. I'm just waiting till I get my bag, okay?
Okay.
All right, and so what makes you guys would choose to share your story publicly opposed to keeping it private as far as when you're doing the podcast? Is there something that is pushing you to do this, or is it something that, makes you want to share?
So it's not just us. It's not just about us. Of course, we'll be sharing us, but the whole premise of a couple of Band-Aids is primarily touching other people that have similarities.
Okay.
With the play on the words, a couple of Band-Aids, a person might be hurting, a couple might be hurting, and they don't know it, and they might need a couple of Band-Aids to heal, to realize and recognize, once sitting down talking with us, that, hey, listen, I have some wounds that I need to take care of, individualistically, or helping one another out. So I think we feel comfortable with openly admitting to who we are because we're comfortable in our own skin.
Yeah, and sharing your story can help other people. Seriously,
it's not just about us. You understand? So that's why I believe that we are who we are.
That's a good thing. That's part of your journey. I mean, that's why I do what I do, because I think it's going to help somebody. So that parenting, entrepreneurship, and advocacy can be emotionally demanding. How do you protect your own mental, spiritual, and emotional wellness while serving others?
Vacation.
Oh, vacations. Y'all travel a lot?
Yes.
Drinking.
I love going on vacation. I just think time away really helps everything.
Press reset.
Yeah.
Where have you guys been recently? Well, I know you just said were you in Atlanta recently?
No.
Or that was a while ago. Okay.
Cincinnati.
Okay.
Like, we just get up and go.
And just go somewhere.
To be honest.
Just get a new scenery.
We'll wake up and be like, I want breakfast. And I'm like, let's just drive to Cleveland.
Okay.
We'll do stuff like that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
You'd be surprised at the stuff that's right next door, though.
Seriously. I tell you that all the time, don't I? Yeah. I say that all the time. We've been to different countries, this, that, and the third. She's been to countries prior to me, but I'm like, listen, there's pockets of enjoyment in Denver, in Colorado, in Idaho, in Kentucky, in Arizona. Like, so, you know.
Yeah, because I had never seen the Grand Canyon. Have y'all ever been there?
Me neither. Exactly.
So, you know, but I've been overseas, but I'm like, you know, I'm going overseas to see this and that, but I have never seen things that's right here in this country. And I finally did go back in 2023, and why when I got there, it was snowing. I couldn't even see. And I dared not to even head in that direction, because I couldn't see my hand in front of me. I would have been, I was like, I'll see y'all later. I went to gift shop and bought a couple t-shirts.
In the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, it was snowing.
You're supposed to been when?
I was supposed to what?
Been when?
Oh yeah, I guess so. But I did see some other, you know, when I was coming back down, I did see some of the air, but I dare not to walk over. I was like, I've been slipped off and it's over for me.
Checking off the
right, because I'd have been dead. Right. Oh, excuse me, unalived. So let's see. So blended families come with unique dynamics, which we talked a little bit about. And how do you guys intentionally create peace, unity, and emotional safety for everyone under your roof?
So we just come up with, you know, we just learn as we go. You know, like I said, my girls are young adults, and Jay has built his own relationship with them. You know, he's taking the time out to do that, and that's important.
Yeah.
You know, because believe it or not, even though they were grown, like, you know, when Jay and I got together, they had this thing like, oh, he's taking my mom.
Right, yeah.
Thing, you know, so you can only imagine the younger ones, you know.
Right.
It's just fostering the relationship, you know, with his younger children as well as his adult children. You know, that's important too, because they're all connected to him.
Yeah.
So, you know, that makes it work. And at the end of the day, it's important for Jay and I to have, you know, boundaries and concretely build our foundation on what works for us. So, you know, even though, you know, he's consistently involved in the younger girls' lives, we have a system. Yeah. You know, when they come with us, how things are going to work, and we make sure we both are on the same page. And so I think that works, right?
Were you a little hesitant when he came in with the younger children? Yeah. You were like, I'm done with it.
That's exactly what I said.
And I'm not about to do it.
I was just like that. But
what won you over?
He was really a gentleman, and he was, like I said, consistent. And then I got to meet his girl.
He's a good dad.
He really is, and his involvement with them, and just how he feels about them. Yeah, like he loves them with everything in him. Yeah, you know, and that touched me. Yeah, you know, so
you can see if he can be that way with them, then I know that he'll be a good husband for me, right? Yeah, because I know that I have to be like, wait a minute, what? How old? Oh, I got you. So, let's see. How do you pass the lessons you've learned on in your life, in your all's life, to the families that you serve? Is that maybe part of the podcast, I guess, would be part of that too?
How do we pass it on to individuals? We, where we were, we give examples of where we were, where we are, where we want to go, you know, and I think the instructions, because a lot of us who are, you know, stuck, stagnant, hurt, afraid to go forward don't have the instruction. So we're like instructors. You understand? With a message from our, you know, journey. You know, and it's not the end all be all. We don't have all the answers. Yeah. You understand? But I do believe that from her journey and my journey, we'll be able to help someone who'll go further in theirs. I believe that. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And
so Jay, I know you did some time and everything, and I think that's a different dynamic when you're talking to people who are like, as women, right? Those are some of the things that we have to consider when we're talking to a man and we're saying, you know, well, could that have made him, you know, could that have hardened his heart? Could that have changed some things? Or is there certain things that I need to be aware of or that I need to be on the lookout for Because which I think that a lot of other people, other races of women, I'm not going to say that it's a different, because I'm quite sure, if we looked at statistics, and I don't know what the statistics are, but there's probably a higher number of them than us that are serving time and doing things like that too. But they always make it look like, But I just know for a fact that I've come across that too, in dating and things like that. So, what do you think? Do you think that as a culture of women, that that comes to be the expectation, that our men probably had to do a little time, or or have had harder upbringings a lot of times, and that because that plays such a role emotionally when with them, that even when you're going into these relationships, these are some of the things, like, even we talk about how we're emotional, right? Mm-hmm. But we do have to take into consideration some of the things that they've gone through, unspeakable, I'm sure, in a lot of cases, mm-hmm. behind those bars, that they're still sorting through. Mm-hmm. 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 So did you think about that at all when you were kind of considering, like, not dating him, but just in interacting with him and being able to communicate with him and knowing how to be not to serve him, but to support him as a wife?
So in the beginning, if that was a thought process, or even when we got engaged, if it was a thought, it wasn't a thought mm-hmm. at all. As time went on, him and I have talked about, we can't allow our previous relationships and what we've been through in life dictate how we choose to connect mm-hmm. together. So what does that mean? Jay has had to be vulnerable with me to express to me what he needs, right? Because I need to know how to care and love him for who he is, based on some of the things and some of the trauma that mm-hmm. he's experienced. So that's an ongoing process.
Yes.
So if it's something that he needs that I'm not giving him, I told him it's important for him to let me know mm-hmm. so that I can make the necessary adjustments to try to do that, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. And I think that's worked for us, because before I had no clue, and Beth, no, I didn't think about it at all.
Yeah.
But it's really important.
Yes, it is. And I think a lot of us have had that experience mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. because, my children's God rest his soul, my daughter's father, he died in prison. Mm-hmm. And then my son's father, he did 12, 15 years in the feds. You know what I'm saying? So when you're thinking about that, and I know that when he was a different man from when he went in, mm-hmm. from when he came out. There's a lot of things that I think that men and women to deal with emotionally from those experiences mm-hmm. that the person that they're involved with doesn't really even understand. Mm-hmm. And do we even think about that?
I think a lot of people who lack the ability to, support another person emotionally don't have the proper tools for themselves mm-hmm. to where they have the self-esteem and courage, connection to give to someone else mm-hmm. because they don't have it within. You understand? I think it was important for me to know and realize, once I realized who I was as a man in this continuous journey, I needed someone such as my mother.
Yes.
My mother, regardless of her story, the drugs, the whatever, the traumas, she got through it.
Yeah.
And during her getting through it, she still showed me support. She still loved me. She still gave me affection.
Yeah.
I mean, hugging and kissing me while she was high.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, and empowering me. Those words. She gave me what she had.
Yeah.
So I felt as if Armett would be a good partner with, if she didn't have all the necessary components, that she'd either catch on or I'll teach her. Mm-hmm. But she had enough to support me, and I felt safe.
And you knew that you had to go into that.
Yes.
And while you're talking to her and you're having
yes.
these conversations with her, that she doesn't even have any clue.
Yes.
That you're looking at and you're seeing within
yes.
her that
yeah.
you knew that she could be the woman that you needed.
Women need to nurture the man. Mm. They need to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. However that looks for them, but we need it. Men need to protect the woman.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's important for me to, if I don't know how to say it, give it.
Yeah.
And we decipher it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are roles. There are things that we have to do for one another.
Yeah.
You understand? Like I need for her to walk on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
which she wasn't doing when I met her.
Mm-hmm.
I need for her not to grab a door. Like that's for me
Mm-hmm.
as a man. I need to lead.
Yeah.
And certain components, I need for her to, help, to be my helpmate. That's in every book, the Quran, the Torah, the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
for a woman to help the man.
Yeah.
We're helping one another, but
Mm-hmm.
I just think a lot of things have gotten watered down in today's society because of the teaching of the others,
Mm-hmm.
that the women are
Yeah. You funny.
the roles.
Yeah.
No, seriously, the roles
I got
have
what you're
been
saying.
interchangeable now.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the next, she'll tell you, I'm a
Mhm.
man's man.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
So that's just primarily, I think that's what made her a good fit for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm. But that's something that you saw in her.
Yeah.
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 And she has that sternness too that I need.
Yeah, because she don't play.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what?
I had to learn to talk.
Yes.
And not
with
just go
him.
upside his head.
No,
Not at him.
listen to this part. You heard
So he would say that often. Why are you talking at me? And I'm like, huh? I'm talking to you. And he's like, no, talk with me.
Give me an example.
And so, let me see what would be an
it?
example.
You, and how come you and you and you and
Oh, she was checking you.
Not
I would have loved to have seen that.
Some people.
Not in
Let me
that
know when you're
manner.
laughing.
Oh,
You
you,
go
I'm
home
sorry.
and
I should about to get me in trouble.
Some people have this way of being that is indoctrined in us to where it's a way of being. So her way of being has been forceful.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And direct. She deals with kids all day. I said, and do this in her way,
Mm-hmm.
but now is you're with a man now.
Mm-hmm.
You're with someone that's cognitive of how you speak.
Mm-hmm.
I was an English major.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I go by what you say. I hear.
Yeah.
So
and you know the meanings of some of these words.
I do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, when we get into it, she's like, why you always got to pull this degree out? And because I just hear, because I'll break it down.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the same. She's intelligent too.
Yeah.
But when I hear something, I'm like, but listen. And she'd be like, but I didn't. No.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what it really means.
Yeah.
So
then, yeah.
It's about communicate. Like people have different forms of communication.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was just about learning his way. Because I'm like, I'm not talking at you. I'm having a conversation with you. But he's like, no, you're not. You're not having a conversation with me because of the tone you're using and the way you're saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So, now I put it on the I.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I felt about, tell me if I was, and then we have a conversation.
Self-development is real.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. And you have to be able to say, you know what, you're right. I'm wrong. And like you said, sometimes when they hit the point, like, and you're like, oh God, I know that this is true now.
That's uncomfortable.
Yes, it is. It definitely sends draws up your crack. For real. You be like,
Nobody don't want to be told they're doing wrong.
Yeah. And especially
in this world of
especially if this is something that you've been doing forever.
That's why I recognize it.
Yeah, and it's been working for you.
And you're passionate about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes too, because I can see your point though, because it's probably something that she's been alluding to with you for a long time. And then it's just like, why aren't you listening to me? Mm-hmm. How many times have I said this? Mm-hmm. How many times have I, mentioned this? Or how many ways do I have to put this? And you're like, yo, hold up. Because now you're like, wait a minute. But there's frustration coming from her side because she feels like she said this 100 times. Mm-hmm. And then you're saying, well, no, because I never even heard that because I'm still trying to figure out who you're talking to.
Seriously.
That part. So we're not getting anywhere.
So now he's not hearing nothing because he's like, wait a minute.
Let's take
and you're like, bro, I done said this 100 times.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not what you say, it's how you say it and when you say it. Mm-hmm. So I've learned that. So now that I'm doing it that way, I'm not repeating myself so many different times.
Yeah.
I'm learning, now's not the time, but I do need to mention it.
Yeah.
And so when we're, good conversation, I'll be like, hey, remember when? And so I wanted to say, and and now he thinks about it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a conversation right before we got here. It was about something.
Right, about being late.
And no, it wasn't about that part. But I did say I'm texting Beth but
she did say Beth said you're always late.
Yeah, she wants $25 to late. But we were talking about something, and he was telling me about it. And when he was telling me, after he told me, I was giving him some feedback. And so I thought about that as he was getting ready. And I said, hey, I wanted to apologize because you were telling me something and I gave you feedback. And so I'm learning, just because he's telling me doesn't mean he wants my feedback. So he said, hey, it's funny you said that because
I was thinking that.
No, he said I was going to apologize to you because when you were giving me the feedback, it may have seemed that I was being a little defensive.
Okay.
But the feedback you gave me was actually what I needed to hear.
Wow.
So I thought it was interesting that both of us thought about it and both came back to apologize. But he heard me and I heard him.
Yeah.
So next time around, for me, it's kind of like, did you want my feedback or were you just telling me because you wanted me to listen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he actually was like, hey, I apologize if I came off defensive because I needed to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, and you know what? So, I think a big part too, when you guys are talking about this, is listening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, and it's a cliche to say, oh, you're listening just to answer the question, or because sometimes
she had to grow into that. She had to grow into listening. Because when that brain go to working and them thoughts go to...
And she, especially if she already got the answer. Oh, I already know what he about to say.
So finish it up.
So yeah, because I'm going to tell you what I... So now she's not even listening anymore. It's like, who is you talking to?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was my big thing. But I had heard it before.
Mm.
So when he said to me, you're not listening to me. You're listening to me to respond. I knew I heard it more than once.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, you know what? I need to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's effective communication.
It is.
You know?
It is.
And if you can't listen to understand and you're listening to respond,
you're doing yourself a
disservice. Yeah. And I think also a part of listening is also paying attention to body language too. Because if you're not, you know, it's not just about what you hear. It's about the look, the movement, you know, and all that is part of the communication.
Body talking.
Yeah, because it's like, well, hold on now.
All that macaroni in your neck, like.
Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense, and not only that, but your previous experiences and things that have gone on in your life before that, you know, are affecting, you know, that are impacting some of the things that you're doing or some of the things that you're saying that even on the other side you don't even realize. So it's just even knowing when you see a change in the demeanor, you know what I'm saying, or a change in the vernacular, right? Then you say, oh, wait a minute, maybe, you know, maybe I do need to just be quiet for a minute and just let him go ahead and cook, right? And vice versa. And realizing that there might be some subliminal things that I'm not even, you know, really paying attention to right now that's playing a role in the reason that we're having this conversation in this manner. So, well, wow. You guys have I just thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate you coming back on, Jay Rizzo. And it was great to meet you, Armett. I mean, you know I met you before, but just to have this conversation and to kind of, you know, to really get the vibe with you is good. And I think that I'm wishing y'all the best.
Thank you.
And I hope we can get together and work on something in the community. I would like to talk to you about, because I want to start doing some more community type of things. I got my, you know, the podcast off to a great start. This is I'm wrapping up season 2. But over the summer, I want to do some things and try to get into the community with the children. I want to talk about self-love and teaching our children how to, because they just come from a different dynamic. And that's why I mentioned that about jail, because I think we do go to jail a lot more often and more so than a lot of other people. And I think that has become very common for our children to say, oh, yeah, my dad or my mom, even like I said, has been, or an uncle or whatever. There's somebody in the family that is doing time or has done some time, and it becomes like almost a rite of passage. And if you don't go to jail, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? And I think that these kind of things, and I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, these are things that happen. It's no big deal. You move on with your life, right? You live and learn, right? But I think disproportionately we are, you know, subjugated to certain things and rules and laws that other people don't always have to, you know. And so it becomes very commonplace. And I think that we have to recognize and we have to teach our children that, That's not something, not necessarily to be ashamed of, but it's also not something to strive to do, you know, to get that first arrest or whatever you're trying to do because you think that that's going to make you a man, or that's something that, you know, is in your family lineage. And I noticed that in some families, it's like, and now it's just like the women, I'm like, well, what is going on? You know, they're having the babies in jail, and the babies go to the aunt, and this and that, and then that, you know, and it's just becoming like, yeah, I did that time, da 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 da. Right. And it's like, what's happening to our children? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I wanna put together some initiatives and try to figure some things out, just to kind of get in front of our children and find out what their needs are and listen to them and hear them, and try to meet that with the community. And I would love to partner up with you. I know you guys have other things going on, but if you be willing to do that, especially since you are in this area, and I know you got all kinds of stories, right?
Yes.
So I would love for us to definitely get to talk about that.
Okay.
So
can do that.
Okay. So listen, fam, these two, the dynamic duo here, the Band-Aid duo. What we heard today wasn't just conversation, it was construction. Jay Real reminded us that growth is intentional, that you can't fake healing, and you do have to face it. Armett and her husband showed us that love isn't just a feeling, it's work, you know, and it's boundaries, it's forgiveness, it's communication, it's choosing peace when pride wants to speak first, and ego. I always put ego in that too. We talked about blended families, business partnerships, community leaderships, and what it really takes to keep harmony in the house that carries responsibility. So here's the truth. Peace doesn't just happen. It's built. Brick by brick, conversation by conversation, prayer by prayer, decision by decision. So tonight, ask yourself, what am I building in my home? What am I building in my relationships? And what am I building in myself? Because resilience isn't loud, it's consistent. And remember, if you think you've arrived, you stop growing, right? So around here, we stay building, right? So this is Brik Talks. We're building resilience. We're inspiring consciousness. And I'll see you next time. So keep laying your bricks, and peace. You know already what the hottest podcast is in the world, the Brik Talks podcast. And so we're on Anything Entertainment Network. Make sure you download that and share it with all your friends, and come out and check out some of the conversations that we're having. We got some really riveting conversations. We're talking about community. We're talking about culture. We're talking about loving and helping one another to just build a great community and to build great surroundings in our community. Make sure you look for us on YouTube. We're on social media. Keep building, y'all. Keep it brick.